Good Saturday morning. Welcome into Weekend Recharge. I'm LaRosa.
And I'm Paul Goodlow. Well, today is the day to prepare for a powerhouse storm that's going to smack the Northeast hard tomorrow.
And talk about timing. This weekend also marks the anniversaries of Superstorm Sandy and the perfect storm. Rain train already laying down the tracks here with the front, so all of that's going to get juiced with that potential tropical cyclone. Tracking rain all the way from the Gulf Coast on up into the Ohio Valley right now. This cold front swinging on through, but there it is. Along with the tropical moisture, you have a developing surface low pressure off the coast. That is going to strengthen, deepen, and bring all of that tropical moisture up to the north. And as our storm strengthens, will then strengthen everything. The rain making and also the wind. So right now, the rain really beginning tonight from Pittsburgh to even Albany, knocking on D.C.'s door. By tomorrow, filling in from Philadelphia to New York and Boston, as well as down to Norfolk, Richmond, even as far south as Raleigh. All these areas continue to rain even into Sunday night. So no surprise that by Monday, we are talking about this rainfall really adding up. And that has us concerned about not only flooding for the rivers and the streams, but also flash flooding on the roadways. Will likely not be an easy drive come Monday morning, because look at these totals, 3 to 5 inches over a huge area. You don't see that kind of level of a rainfall forecast graphic all that often. And on top of that, the winds 55 to 60 miles per hour. So I want to get right to Dr. Greg Postel, talk about but this storm is going to have impacts from bringing the cool weather across the southeast, of course, to the wet and potentially flooding rainfall here in the northeast. So we take a look at the flood alerts. The flash flood watch is posted all the way from Maine to Pennsylvania. But I love this graphic because you can see all of the major rivers here, Hudson Valley, Connecticut Valley, all looking at filling up with a lot of rainfall, as those rainfall amounts will be anywhere from 3 to 5 inches by Monday. So a lot going into that. But fine-tuning it and kind of talking about peak impacts, you have Boston, 45-mile-per-hour gusts likely early Monday. So that's morning drive, that's getting the kids to school. Rain coming late Sunday into Monday morning, and you could see about 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. And you're thinking, when you were talking about amounts 5+ inches of rain, that doesn't sound like a lot, but that is enough. It's certainly to create some big problems on the roadways come Monday morning. All right, Burlington, Vermont here too, 35+ mile-per-hour gusts coming Monday afternoon and evening. Rain coming as early as tomorrow morning, lasting through Monday. And then again here too, about 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. There will be spots in New England, as we're talking about, 3 to 5 inches plus rainfall. And it is going to feel pretty miserable, Paul. You've got temperatures into the 40s, only near 50 degrees, rain and wind. It is about as raw as you can get without snow.
Yeah, we got wind coming in, but also that's a concern because we're going to see a lot of rain, and that could lead to problems with some trees falling down. Still, the leaves are turning color, but not all of them are dropping off the trees. So you have saturated ground thanks to some areas seeing some needed, maybe 2, 4, 5 inches of rain. Then you have the gusty winds coming in there as well. And believe it or not, most of the tree's root ball is within perhaps 1.5 to 2 feet of the ground. Easily can get saturated when you have the 2 to 5 inches of rain we're forecasting.
And up until this point, the last few weeks have been relatively dry, so that adds another level of, instability here. But that soaking rain tries to get into that highest level of the ground, but all it will take to make this a situation, those strong winds, and we will have them.
Right. Eventually, you can pop up those root balls. And look at this, the forecast. You mentioned the windy day here. Even behind this system across the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, we have winds gusting 30, 40, even 50 miles per hour. That will definitely bring down some trees and some power lines, meaning perhaps people in the dark and even the cold, because colder air is coming in there. Sometimes the heat won't work without the power. And
you've got that looking at Monday morning, and again, the pinks just offshore. Those will be coming onshore in a lot of places. Yeah. We'll still head on Weekend Recharge. Rain, and yes, it looks like a little bit of snowflake potential here as the front begins to slide off to the east. Was enough to get Chicago a little bit of the snow this morning, but there you go, riding right along I-80. There's Sandusky in the blue on the radar. Nothing terribly heavy. It is on the move, but boy, it's a raw day out there. 39 degrees in Cleveland. You have Mansfield at 36. We've got Wilmington into the 30s, reporting some snow. Getting ready to move into Columbus area as well, where we're going to have Ohio State versus Penn State later on today. But look at this, cool enough that we have a little bit of the lake effect. You see sort of the little bit coming off of Lake Michigan right now. We see through the next couple of hours that this cold front will push off to the east. Remember, this is that area of low pressure and front that brought the snow to the upper upper Midwest yesterday, including Minneapolis and Duluth, and we saw all those incredible snowfall totals in that area. It is mainly rain here at this point as we get into later on this evening. Keep that in mind if you're heading to a Halloween party, say in Pittsburgh. That is going to be an issue for you, certainly on the roadways. So today, with some improving conditions in cities like Minneapolis, not too bad. You'll get some of that sunshine out here. We'll be on the cool side. Clouds linger tonight with that next wave rolling on by, but talk about rolling on by, we have that cold air seeping on south with all of this.
We're talking an Arctic blast of cold air for many this morning. Even take a look at the temperatures here.
So it is definitely a point of interest when you're talking about another tropical feature that'll be bringing a lot of heavy rain there.
Right. That's the big story with this thing. We're going to get some rain into Florida. It's already beginning to move in right now. That's going to continue certainly through the afternoon and overnight. But by tomorrow, this time, whatever we're dealing with here is going to be like over here. So that's how fast it's moving.
It's amazing. And that's a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing because it limits the potential crazy rainfall amounts.
Yes. Yeah. And you know, it's got a 90% chance, allegedly, of turning into a tropical cyclone. Maybe it does. We'll see. The movement north-northeast at 10, that's going to be accelerating very soon. It's going to be moving much more quickly during this afternoon and overnight than it is now. And you can see the clouds getting shredded in that direction. Shredded.
I mean, you said just before we went on air, a little weird looking system, right? It's what do you think about that 90% chance?
You know, there may be some justification somewhere in a tiny little area, but what you really need for tropical development is you need a cluster of thunderstorms to cooperatively interact with the surface flow near the ocean. And that requires very tranquil conditions around it. This is not that scenario, right? The winds maybe aloft here, right here, aren't that strong, but there's no sign that we've got a coherent low pressure with a batch of thunderstorms anywhere near it. Area of low pressure is here, lots of thunderstorms sprinkled here, and just to the north, we got raging winds over 100 miles per hour over the Gulf of Mexico.
That's enough to shred it, for sure. But it's got a lot of deep moisture with it, and that is the key to the puzzle here.
That's right. And let's focus on the impacts because showers and thunderstorms will be moving northward from the Caribbean across parts of the southern Florida peninsula this afternoon. Most of it likely south of I-4, but it is going to be kind of stormy time of it. And maybe in the Bahamas they get some wind gusts of over 40 miles per hour. So during the overnight tonight. That
is an impact for sure, especially if you're heading out late tonight. But by tomorrow morning, you know, speaking to the speed of all of it,
that's 4 a.m. and it's already like heading out to sea at light speed. And then it's gone. It's getting carried by that very fast jet stream, which is associated with our big storm in the northeast. Notice that they're separate and distinct entities. There's potential tropical cyclone 18, whatever, maybe it becomes Philippe. It's here. The big nor'easter is, you know, wreaking havoc with huge winds in the northeast at this time.
But they're connected in that moisture content, that ability for that big one to pull it in. But there's plenty available to produce some big rain in South Florida.
Lots of rain. That's the big story over the next 24 hours.
All right, Dr. Postel, thank you so much. We'll be right back.